Welcome back to Factory Sealed. It is November 12th, 2016. My name's Eric Peterson, and joining me today, Dan Curtis.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. That was quite formal.
It was. Nice to see you. Nice to see you.
Jolly good, sir.
How are you? Oh, good sir.
Finer than frog's hair.
Oh, not this again.
There'd be any better than have to be two of me.
Have you seen any nice cheese or pottery this week?
Just a nice large wheel of Edam.
Oh, that is a fine cheese. Right, that's it. We'll see you all next week.
Bye.
Yeah, just me today.
Good Lord.
Yeah. On a Saturday.
It is Saturday.
Saturday.
That whore.
Goes so well with everything, that.
It has started to affect everything I see that ends in an R.
Yeah, me too. It's becoming a problem. Just
Really?
slowly killing the English language.
I wonder if it's affected anybody else.
Probably. We seem to have an effect. We seem to have an effect on people. So. I've noticed there's an increasing frequency of people saying that is the tits.
I know. Isn't that a sweet saying?
This is a sweet saying. It's being rapidly replaced by that's the tip of the nipples.
Well, I mean, the tits is like just baseline awesome. Tip of the nipples is reserved for like, that is the cream of the tit crop.
Just
like
a small person stand on the tip of a nipple going, yes!
Woo, I've made it! I can see home!
So yeah, Jess is apparently still dead. And
No, let's really shine the light on where she actually is.
She's here. Jess, say hi.
I'm just Scarlett Johannson. God,
Hello, this is Jess Clarkson.
guys, I got a PlayStation 4 to finally, and I bought a game, but didn't play it. It's good.
Yeah, Jess has bought a PS4 Pro and got no games.
Jesus, that hurt my voice. I'm Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett, you're sounding positively saucy today. Scarlett Johansson shows up in the next Avengers film doing that.
Breathing through a pipe in her throat. Don't smoke, children.
It is I, Black Widow.
Kiss me, you fool.
What a catch.
Jess is at puppy class.
Yes. How many classes does this puppy need?
It must be a real shit dog.
And it probably just shits everywhere. It's probably because the house keeps getting invaded by cats.
God, what just a tumultuous year.
I know, right?
Good Lord. I mean, Jess has seen the brunt of it.
I feel Jess is just descending into madness slowly but surely.
I mean, she has turned 30, so now's the time to turn over the crazy leaf.
Celebrate being 30 by having a Harry Potter pie.
Did you see when I asked her if she was going to go as Dumbledore? She didn't respond.
Oh. I think you caused offense.
I think that may have been. I pressed send and went, ooh, probably not.
I can picture it. Sorry, where's Tom as well?
Tom's dead.
Tom's dead, right?
I don't know where he is.
You said he was out of town.
He's an enigma, that guy.
This is the cryptic Reagan.
Yes, guys, I won't be in here this morning. I've got very important things to do.
He's still fixing the website he broke the other day.
Yes, Tom, we need you to push the global launch button. Oh, the delete one?
Choice between a big red one or a big green one. I don't know what to press.
Both.
Just keep zooming in on Tom's face with wide eyes, just panicking.
Back to the buttons, back to Tom, back to the buttons, back to Tom.
It's just sweat coming down his face.
Guy's just in the background going, are you fucking kidding me? It's the big green one.
It just cuts to Tom half an hour later and somebody says, you had one jawbreaker.
He's crying in the corner. Months of work undone.
I'm colorblind.
I can code websites for a global company, but I can't press launch. We're just kidding, Tom.
This is why I'm on the show as much as I am, right? Because I know when you're not here, you just get thrown under the bus.
Why do you think I don't let you guys do it without me?
Oh, we'd have a field day if you were dead.
I know, and I'm afraid of that.
Even when you collapsed, you still insisted on being.
Yeah, guys, it's okay. I'm in shock. I'll be on the show in 6 hours.
My brain's just dribbling out my ears. I still crack on.
Yeah, it's just in case they be there to drool.
But like I think the most time I missed was when I was in Australia, and that was when, of course, Jockbuns was kind.
Well, you made the mistake of posting pictures.
I did, yes. God forbid I enjoy myself.
No. You are not allowed.
I've got a Jockbuns shirt on today, actually.
You really?
Yeah, but it doesn't say Jockbuns. It actually says
What's the brand? Jack and John?
Jack and Jones.
Jones, like Jones?
Yeah, but from a distance it looks like Jockbuns.
Well, I need that
Every time I wear that shirt, now I just think Jockbuns. It makes me laugh. So, yeah.
We've really started a lot of dumb stuff.
Yeah, we have.
I really want that one that you have where it just takes the vowels out of it.
That's the one I'm on about. That's the authentic Jockbuns shirt.
Oh, man.
I got that years ago, though, so I don't think you can still get it.
Well.
Just search for Jockbuns and see what comes up.
I'm not typing that in.
Why would it come up in your search too quickly?
I mean, yeah, it'd self-fill. Every time I put a J in, it just fills out. You looking for Jockbuns?
Here are all the Jockbuns in the world.
Must be Saturday afternoon again. Here's your Jockbuns.
Straight to jockbuns.com.
Is there a jockbuns.com?
I don't know. I don't really want to look. You should go look.
There is not.
I reckon your favourite website will probably be penisland.com.
Penistone.
No, penisland.com.
I'm not going there.
I thought you were typing it in.
I started to, and then I went, wait a minute, is this like Lemon Party?
No. Think about it.
I know, Dan.
Okay, good.
I'm going there.
You're going to Penis Land?
Oh, God, I think it's a virus. Deceptive site ahead, close. Oh,
Stupid Pen Island.
Damn it. Island full of pens. Hopefully they're ballpoint.
It's like my dream. Have you ever seen, that reminds me, have you ever seen the really stupid reviews on Amazon for products?
Stupid? For what?
For different products.
Well, yeah, naturally.
Like, no, but there's some where they're so ludicrous, these items, that people have just taken the piss. And there's one, like, it's a Bic ballpoint pen for women.
Oh, yeah.
People have just had a field day, like going, I know I was never allowed pens before by my husband, but now that I've got this pen, I can use my dainty little hands. They're so funny. I have seen that one. There's one with like a 3-headed wolf t-shirt and stuff. They're just great. Highly recommended.
Highly.
Strongly,
madly.
Strongly, deeply.
That was a Savage Garden reference.
Was it?
Yeah. Well, it should have been truly madly. Deeply.
You guys have Savage Garden?
Well, yeah, they're a band. We have music here.
Really?
Uh-huh.
I thought you just listened to the national anthem on a loop.
It's just...
If you're outside, you can always hear the anthem.
I don't know why. In my head, I thought I was going to sing it, and then I was going to go do the French national anthem.
And there's actually a law that if there's a gathering of more than 5 people, there must be a continuous chant of USA, USA.
Wow, that must be annoying. Just everybody in the mall just stops and shouts.
He's just walking around, USA.
Yeah, sounds like a fun time.
It has. It's been a week of standing in lines for me. I had to stand in line to vote on Tuesday.
Yes.
Apparently there were massive lines, so I took my DS with me thinking, well, this is going to be an affair. I was in and out in 15 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad. When we had to vote on Brexit, because I'm in Pity Me, which of course is the arse end of nowhere, and I had no idea where the local voting place was, and I went and looked for it, and I was like, it's just an old house where somebody has put like a sign outside. And I walked in, and there was just 2 old women there in this horrible, dingy room with 2 tiny barriers separating 2 voting booths. I was just like, this is the most surreal thing in the world.
You'll reach, son. You come and vote.
You want to stay here with us?
Vote on the country report shit.
Because I'm the only person who lives in Pity Me. I was the only person.
Oh, look, someone turned out. Are you sure that you actually went to an actual voting
since 1974. No, I just signed my life away to 2 old women from Pity Me.
These women were just lonely and wanted company of a young, buff man, so they put a voting sign out on Brexit
Day. Never been used to describe me.
Well, I mean, they had to settle for something.
We welcome a young, buff man. Instead, we'll have this lanky streak of piss that's wandered through the door.
All right, laddie, come on in and show me what you got. Oh. This lanky string of piss.
Streak of piss, not stream.
That's so stupid.
Welcome to England.
Oh, old British women are hilarious.
Oh, they are. They get to a stage, Eric, where they just don't give a shit anymore, and they're just so naughty.
I want to meet your grandma.
You really don't.
If I fallen over.
I don't know if she's going deaf, right, or if she's really ignorant, but she just doesn't listen anymore. I was standing there the other day talking to her about getting something for my granddad for Christmas, and I was standing like a foot in front of her, talking directly to her face, and she didn't hear me. She's like, "What?"
Does she really talk like that?
No.
What? Daniel, what?
The what travels in the family, you know. The Curtis family catchphrase handed down throughout the generations.
Your crest of arms is just what?
It's just a confused looking person with one underneath.
Some guy with his medieval helmet on sideways and a broken sword. What?
Then you just add each person's face as you go through the years, and mine will just be Jockbuns the first.
So Jockbuns the first. Your grandma sounds like a right good time.
She is. She's pretty damn funny at times. Pain in the ass at others, but you know, as always.
The other line I got to stand in line for was for the mini NES.
Oh, that came out this week.
I mean, actually, standing in line is a very liberal term because I saw the line and went, fuck that, and left.
Don't you mean a queue?
Q-U-U-E.
Sound like Abe.
Coupon. Right?
Yeah, but the mini NES did come out this week. It seems to have been either very popular or, as usual, Nintendo has not anticipated demand and not made enough.
No. Here's what happened with that. Dude, this is all strategic, and it's great. Nintendo does a fantastic job of doing that. They create an artificial demand. I mean, people wanted it. I think people really wanted it. But once they discovered, like, oh, this thing's going to be rare, that does something in people's brains where they say, oh, I have to have this. And it just kind of creates this huge demand for it. So what they've done is they've released it in very short supply to keep that demand really high in the lead up to Christmas. And then they're just going to go, here you go.
All a massive conspiracy.
Got your tinfoil hat on today?
Eric Peterson with his insider knowledge there of Nintendo.
Yeah. I mean, makes sense, doesn't it?
It does make sense, but it's probably utter shite.
Oh, sure. I was texting back and forth with Andrew Thorson, who I believe is in Texas, and he was standing in line at a Walmart. He got there at 9:30, and they weren't going to start selling them till midnight, and there was already somebody else in line, but people just kept coming up, and they only had 8.
Oh, God.
This course of like 40 people came up, and some people continually past the 8th person in line, stood in line, despite being told, we don't have 9, we have 8.
As you do.
I was planning on just going at like 11:15, because there's like 40 Walmarts in Phoenix. I'm like, I'll just pick one and go. I got there, and there was like 40 people in line, and I asked the last guy, like, everybody here waiting for the console? Like, yeah. I'm like, do they have enough? No, they got about 15. I'm like, so why are you still in line?
I don't know. Maybe he's thinking some people would leave in disgust.
Are you hoping that there are 25 people paying with credit card and they all get declined?
When the PS4 came out, I went to get that at midnight, and the queue was huge. And I got about 5 people from the front, and we've got none left. I was like, you absolute twats. I've been standing here for 2 hours.
You know, we used to do that when I worked at GameStop and had midnight launches. And that's back when you could only get it at midnight if you reserved it. Mm-hmm. But occasionally we'd have extra copies. And there would be people that would stand in line. We'd have the reserve line, and then we'd have the non-reserve line. And we'd tell people, we only have like 40 copies. And then the people after that would leave. We wouldn't want people to stand in line. And we'd always do that. And we'd make sure the last person in line just said, hey, they don't have any more.
Fair enough.
But there are some... I don't do a whole lot of midnight launches anymore, but probably the 2 that I remember the most are when Halo 3 came out. I was working the midnight launch of that one, and the line wrapped all the way down the mall. It was enormous, and we had, I think we had somebody from the local military post come out. They were doing, just a sponsorship, and they put up a little booth in the center of the mall and sponsored some TVs and some game systems with Halo 2. And, they were using it kind of as a recruiting thing. But people came out dressed up.
Halo 3 is recruiting for the army.
Well, no, but I mean, you can see the correlation between it. And
yeah, energy swords, all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah. But people were just digging it. It was just a ton of fun. There were probably 300 people there. We had boxes upon boxes of this game, and just people were eating it up.
I see midnight launches in England's just a bunch of angry people who are tired waiting for a game. So.
I mean, most of the stores are like that, but it was back when I was one of the store managers there, and we made sure that people had fun because we were the only GameStop in town.
You guys, do you still go so nuts over Black Friday every year?
It's starting to die down.
Yeah, because we kind of adopted it a couple of years back, and the country went a bit into meltdown when it happened. And then a lot of the major retailers went, you know what, we're not going to do it again because it was so crazy. So we have it kind of online with Amazon and stuff, but major retailers won't do it anymore.
What happened with us is people started opening earlier and earlier and earlier, and people started getting fed up with it.
We'll open Black Friday the year before.
Yeah. So they'd start opening up at like 4:00 in the afternoon on Thursday, destroying Thanksgiving for a lot of people because there's that innate need, like, I have to be the first one in line. So people were sacrificing their Thanksgiving to go stand in line for shit.
Are the deals really that good? Are they just people go nuts because it's a bit...
Sometimes they can be. I haven't noticed anything in the past couple of years that I said, I have to have this.
Yeah.
Mainly because I don't really care. And most of the stuff you can get online.
True.
So if you just sit at home in your underwear and have your computer out, you can get all those deals.
You have the added benefit of on-hand pornography, of course.
I mean, you can have that on your phone, too.
But you can't stand and jack it in the store.
Or can you?
Well, if you're just a stalker, yes.
Just wear a trench coat with fake arms.
Oh, God. That's a dedicated wanker right there.
These are my real arms. Don't worry about them. I'm just real stiff today.
Oh, put it there, pal. I'm sorry, my arms don't actually move. I have no shoulder blades.
No collarbones.
But
no, the mini NES. So I got up the next morning after I left that Walmart. I called another one that was by my house, and they said, "No, we actually close at midnight." And I'd forgotten because that was the Target, or that was the Walmart where the store manager was murdered. So ever since he was killed, they decided, you know what, we're going to close at midnight now. So it's one of the few Walmarts that's not open 24 hours. So I decided to wake up the next morning and see if I could get one at Target. Drove by, there was a line of like 20 people, and went, yeah, no thanks, and went home.
But you did get one in the end.
I did. I called up Ben Schrader and said, yo, we need one. And he went, you know I can get you one.
I can get you whatever you want, Eric.
Come around back, I'll show you. So that's how we got Quentin his NES Classic on launch day.
Have we announced on the podcast that Quentin, we have, haven't we? Yes.
Yeah, we did that last week, Dan.
Yes, we did.
And then we did a bunch of Facebook posts about it, and you replied to one saying congratulations.
I did. Just reaffirming, if you didn't hear that, Quentin Saga won the podcast, won the mini NES contest.
You won the podcast.
Won the podcast.
So if you call, we're going to turn the show over to you. Good luck.
Just do it by yourself.
Yeah.
We had a good run.
In hindsight, we probably should have pre-ordered one of these. I didn't think they were going to be this popular.
I didn't think they would either. Well, that's just proof of how strong the retro gaming community is.
Yeah.
With people nowadays. Even though a lot of people probably still have an NES.
I have like 3.
Oh my God, Eric, we need to talk about the controller length.
I don't understand. I just don't get it. Did you see that picture that Andrew Thorson posted about the comparison?
God, they are half the size of the NES length.
So the only thing I can think of is that if you look at the Wii Classic controller that plugs into the bottom of the Wii remote, it's the same cable. You can actually use these NES Classic controllers on the Wii remotes. The cable's the same length. So they just had a standardization there and went, yeah, this is fine.
But you'd have to sit like cross-legged in front of your TV because you have a controller cord which is 2.5 feet, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's super short.
And I mean, obviously we're used to wireless now, so people have moved further away from the TVs.
Well, I understand why they didn't do wireless. It's
More
because
expensive.
that would have added the cost.
Yes.
And $60 is the sweet spot for this. I think anything above that, people would have gone, but it's the cost of a traditional game these days.
Yeah, I mean, I still think they've missed a trick without putting the option of adding more games to it.
I'm glad they didn't, because then that would have felt like they were just nickel and diming us. Because we already have that ability through the Virtual Console on 3 different systems.
Yeah, but not everybody has like a Wii U. And this would be a more affordable option for those who wanted to enjoy retro games who don't necessarily want to emulate and want to get them legit.
But then again, that would have come down to additional cost. You'd have to put either a USB port or some sort of internet port on there, and then the ability, to be more programming with the UI to scale it.
But then they could sell it at a loss and make their profit through the Virtual Console.
I don't think they're selling that thing at a loss.
I don't right now, but they could, is my point.
True, but how many people do you think would have... I mean, I guess if they would have made the games affordable, super cheap, like $1 or $2 a piece.
Yeah, that would be great. And you could just increase it as you wanted. I mean, will they do the SNES as well? Because that's the question. Because in my opinion, the SNES games are better.
I don't see a universe in which they don't.
No, given the popularity of this, And
I think you're going to start to see other companies jump on board here, official ones.
Me and Tom talked about this once and said, like, what would we put on a mini PS1? You know, those kind of games are available on the PS3 to an extent, but you could have a mini PS1 quite easily with a lot of good games on it.
The problem is that those games take up a lot more space.
Yes, of course.
In NES and Super Nintendo, we're talking bytes and megabytes.
Bytes and megabytes, yeah.
In PS1, we're talking hundreds, if not gigabytes.
Yeah, but
so there have to be a drive.
I think Sony could get away with charging a bit more for theirs.
I think anything over $100, and it'd be like, this is too much.
Yeah, I saw somebody the other day who said if they did some. You remember when they did the PlayStation TV, and it was a massive flop?
Oh, I have one.
Do you?
Oh yeah, I got it for $36.
You ever used it?
I plugged it in a couple times. Like, yep, it works.
And somebody posted something like, if that was kind of like the mini NES with games on and stuff, that might have done a lot better.
The problem with the PlayStation TV is that it didn't support all the Vita games.
I can't even remember what it is.
It's just a small it's basically a portable PlayStation Vita that plugs into your TV.
Right.
That's all it is, but it doesn't support all Vita games.
Well, that sucks.
So I loaded it up with PS1 games in the intention of having it on the TV in the bedroom and be like, okay, I'm going to play this in here now, and I don't. I just don't use it. It doesn't support Netflix either. So I was going to use that as my Netflix player.
I just feel like a lot of these kind of peripherals that come out for consoles and stuff don't have longevity. Like, they just kind of go.
You know, and that's kind of why I steered away from the PSVR, is because Sony has a history of not supporting their peripherals.
I mean, look at the PlayStation Move, which has now come full circle and could be used with the PSVR. But when that come out, there was hardly any games for it. I mean, I bought it years ago. I used it for Heavy Rain. I used it for a couple of demos, and I haven't used it since. And I just imagine there was just a massive warehouse filled with these PS Moves for about 8 years waiting for the release of PSVR.
Oh, yeah. Like, pull the batteries out, put a new one in, and sell them at a profit.
I mean, virtual reality, the PSVR was meant to be a huge thing, and a few people have bought it, but you don't really hear about it anymore.
Which is kind of telling, yeah. It's like, ew, is this trickling down?
Yeah, it's out, but the hype seems to have gone.
Yeah, I'm really glad I didn't buy one, to be honest.
I mean, I'm sure I was actually at a local store and somebody was playing on one. It looks a lot of fun, but as a game, when I'm playing a game, I don't think I would want to do it all the time. I think it would be more of a novelty thing.
Yeah.
And
I would foresee myself delving into VR more on the mobile aspect, which is why I'm looking forward to getting my Google Daydream.
All right, yeah, of course. Are you actually going to get it this time, or?
Well, it came free with my phone, so I'm just waiting for it to deliver.
Really?
Yeah. I pre-ordered my phone, and they said, if you pre-order this by this date, I knew I was going to get it anyway. I'm like, well, I guess I'll pay for it ahead of time instead of paying for it the day it comes out and get a free VR headset with it.
I'm interested if anybody listens to the show and they have got a VR headset, like just how often you use it, whether you can see yourself using it in the future, just let us know, because I am legit interested to see how long people are going to use it.
I've got a buddy that's got the HTC Vive, and I don't think I've seen him use it in the past 6 months.
Yeah, but I think the HTC Vive is a lot better than the PSVR.
I think I've way better.
I've said this before because it has the movement option, which is where you have you're always going to have a disconnect when you're sitting down playing PSVR.
Well, you can play PSVR and get up and move. It just only tracks you at 180 degrees. Once you turn around, it doesn't track you anymore.
That's going to take you out of it, though, isn't it? Straight away, you're going to be like, right, well, not really.
Whereas the Vive has dual sensors, one in opposite corners.
Yeah, which is a lot better.
I don't personally foresee VR becoming mainstream for gaming.
No.
I really don't.
I think the PS Pro came out this week.
It did.
And I think it is made for a select elite group of gamers. And I just can't see it doing brilliant.
Well, so much of what I read about it, you're not going to the average gamer isn't going to notice much of an uptick in quality, speed, load times, and graphics. Because it's not, from what I understand, it's not truly outputting 4K gaming.
It depends on the game, I think.
Yeah.
It's basically the PS Pro unlocks the potential for games. The game developer has to decide what they can use and what processors they can use to enhance their games. Like, I think you get kind of like on a PC when you can select different options.
Mm-hmm.
So you can upscale like with checkerboard 4K, and I don't even know what that means. And then you got the HDR option. Apparently HDR is very good.
It is, if you have an HDR enabled TV.
Yeah, but you've got to think about what TV to get. And
yeah, and that was the deterrent for me right now, because I wanted to get one, but it's going to do no good for me right now. Because I don't have an HDR TV, I don't have a 4K TV, and I don't need to upgrade to one.
It's a shame Jess isn't here, because she has actually bought the PS4 Pro.
Yes, but she hasn't played anything.
Yeah, she hasn't got any games.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense.
Did she ever actually say she didn't buy Destiny?
She did, yeah. She said she was just kidding. She was just winding us up.
God. And she wound us up good.
She did, because we don't like
Tom
that
got
Destiny.
in on it.
We don't like it.
Game's shit.
It is shite.
Shitty
shit.
My microphone is moving. There we go.
Oh, God.
Oh, dear. I think that was all that came out this week. Are you going to get a mini NES?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think I am either.
What puts me off is not all the games, or is that the Mega Drive where not all the games are like mainstream ones?
Yeah, it seems like there are a few good games on there that I'd want to play, but they're games that I've played so much that I don't need to spend $60 to play them again.
Yeah, I think I've played quite a few NES games myself. I haven't played as much SNES, so I'd be more interested in a mini SNES.
The companion book that came out with it apparently is shit. Like, just poor quality. Blurry images, missing text, things just flat out missing from the book. Like in the page about Zelda, it'll say, here's a map about Zelda, or here's the map about this dungeon, and then that map is just nowhere.
Oh, that's useful.
Yeah.
So
the slipcover, I guess, is really awesome.
I guess then.
Yeah, I think the Amazon reviews on it were like 2 stars.
Wow.
Yeah. Because that's what I was actually thinking about getting, just to have it. But
I don't know. I can see the appeal, but there are other ways to access these games already.
Did you see that link I posted on our Facebook page about all of the digital manuals that come with that game?
Yes.
Good Lord, I forgot how awesome game manuals used to be.
I know, it's such a sad thing. I have very fond memories of like coming back from shopping with my parents with a new game and just reading the manual in the car.
Yep.
And
smelling it.
And oh yeah, just rubbing it all over your face.
Oh dude, no, seriously, when you open a game, the game manual it had the most unique smell.
Yeah. It's nice. And
I recently found a really old video game manual that I'd had kicking around for The Illusion of Gaia on Super Nintendo.
Wow.
Which, if you have not played that game, it's the tip of both nipples.
Oh, that's very exciting.
We played that on episode 5?
Before my time.
Quite. But I was most impressed with the Final Fantasy one. I never had the actual copy of Final Fantasy, but that manual is 80 pages long.
Jesus Christ.
It's an actual book.
I do miss manuals.
I would say like 40 pages of it, though, are a walkthrough of the first area. Speaking
of Final Fantasy, have you seen the glitch that's come out from Final Fantasy 15?
No.
Where it's called dude hugging.
Dude hugging?
Yeah, basically what's happening is the game is spawning 2 NPCs in the same location. They're clipping through each other, and it just looks like one dude is just on the back of another dude hugging him. It's really funny.
That does sound awesome. I'm afraid that game is just going to be a technical mess.
I think it's got a lot of scope, but hopefully they've polished it up enough.
Yeah, let's hope it's not just big polish.
The Witcher 3 was pretty janky when it first came out, and they fixed a lot of it.
I'm willing to look past it because I'm excited for it.
Yeah, couldn't be broken as hell. Actually, Eric, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. I don't think we've mentioned it yet. Did you see in the news about Bethesda starting to withhold review copies?
Oh, that's been around for a long time. They've blacklisted Kotaku.
No, but they actually do it for everyone now.
I think that's good.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I've actually stopped reading reviews recently because if there's a game that I'm excited for it for a reason. And I've found myself recently relying too much on reviews to dictate whether or not I buy a game.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that helps the industry at all.
Well, but on the other hand, No Man's Sky didn't have reviews ahead of time.
It had pre-reviews.
It didn't, though. Nothing to indicate that it would be as bad as it was. And that's my example. I'm the exact opposite of you. I think the media should have access to the games ahead of time, because a lot of people do rely on reviews for the games.
They do, but you got to think about it from a developer standpoint, where they've dumped millions of dollars into creating this game, and the game's success becomes subjective to a handful of people whose job it is to be critical about things.
Yeah, but it also gives game developers a free pass to push out something which is broken, which is becoming increasingly common.
Yeah, it's kind of a catch-22 where
it is.
I don't think there's a perfect solution to it.
But they're quite happy to still send them out to YouTubers who will talk nicely about their game.
Don't get me started on YouTube culture.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But again, that's one of those things you can see both sides. You can see both sides of it, can't you?
Where Bethesda would send out a copy of the Skyrim Remastered Edition to a YouTuber like a month in advance, but not give review copies to established gaming critics.
Yeah. Because they know that people will just watch and absorb the YouTube content, whereas people who look at a review with a score on more critically and then go, right, I might not buy this now.
See, and that's why I really enjoy what Kotaku has done recently, where they've eliminated scores. I don't think there should be scoring at all. I think it should just be, here's a review.
Yeah.
You can discern from what I have told you whether it's good or not.
Yeah, Eurogamer do that now as well.
And I think I have a couple of friends who rely very heavily on Metacritic.
Oh, Metacritic's full of shit.
Oh, yeah. Because it's not just... It takes the scores of the game from all the sites, not just the reputable ones.
Well, things are as always subjective. One man's opinion doesn't necessarily represent every gamer. I mean, like...
There have been articles about Metacritic where bonuses have been tied to a Metacritic score.
Yeah. It's insane. It really is. I do read reviews, but I don't... They're not the be-all and end-all for it. If I am excited for a game, like Final Fantasy 15, I'm getting that regardless of how it reviews.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Final Fantasy 13 didn't review well. I quite enjoyed it. So...
I think as a gamer, it's your responsibility to take a review with a grain of salt and understand that this is one person's opinion. We forget about that. And we're like, oh, this is what this game is getting universally. It's like, but this is one guy out of, or girl, I guess, out of millions that are going to play this.
I just don't want it to become something where we have to accept broken games and pay top dollar for them.
Well, I mean, that's become the standard anyway with the advent of patches and downloads and DLC.
Yeah, but it's just not good though, is it?
No,
I understand games are more complex now than they've ever been, but you still shouldn't have to. Games are one of the most expensive hobbies on the market as well, because obviously they cost so much to make. But the markup on
I probably spend a couple $1,000 a year on games.
Probably, and I mean, you don't anything else you buy, you expect it to work, right?
I mean, I guess I'd rather have it be in the state that it is now than the state it used to be, where they launch a game and this is what it is forever.
Yeah, I don't mind patches which fix like little bugs, but when something's inherently broken when it first comes out, that is what really annoys me.
Yeah, I agree.
I just don't think that's acceptable. If that is the case of the game, it should not be published and should be pushed back. Like, I quite admire Final Fantasy 15 for taking this extra 2 months to polish it up.
Oh, yeah, I never get upset at delays.
No, a delay is usually a good thing.
I don't think there's ever been a delay where they said, this game's too good, we're going to delay it and make it worse.
It's quite interesting this year because it's 2 of the most delayed games in history are coming out. So you've got Final Fantasy 15 and, of course, The Last Guardian is finally coming out.
And by all accounts, The Last Guardian's probably not going to be very good.
Well, apparently it's kind of not... It's still kind of a PS3 game, but for PS4.
That it's kind of a PS3 game that uses PS2 mechanics.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've ever played Ico, Ico's not very fun.
Shadow of the Colossus is a very good game, though.
Yeah, I can't remember the developer's name, but he heavily relies upon AI companions, which can be very frustrating from a gameplay standpoint, because if it's not done well, it becomes annoying.
Well, apparently the creature in The Last Guardian it is actually by design of the AI that at the start he doesn't always listen to you because it's meant to be like getting the bond between the creature and the human. He doesn't trust him at first, so he doesn't always come towards him. But from a gameplay perspective, that might be frustrating, but I'm interested to see how it goes on and gets better.
That might be one of those games that I just buy out of principle and be like, you know what, this game survived vaporware status.
Yeah.
Let's support it.
Let's hope it doesn't do a Duke Nukem Forever.
I mean, I can almost guarantee you're not going to be able to write on the wall with poop.
That's basically what that game was.
You could do it in Duke Nukem
I know you
Forever.
could. I've seen it. It's quite disturbing.
Yeah. I don't remember what we were talking about. How we got to here.
Games and stuff, probably.
I mean, video games, reviews, games. That's what I was going to say. It's in regard to the reviews, it's kind of important then to note that our thoughts on old games are just that. They're our thoughts. It doesn't mean that if we don't like it, that it's bad. So keep that in mind. Sometimes we rag on a game pretty hard. But that, again, that's just our
We've
thoughts.
always said we're not the reviewers. We are just a bunch of numpties who come together to talk about games.
Yes. And in previous shows, you may hear me rag on Goof Troop a lot. It kind of just became a thing.
It is shit.
Like our scores and tip of the nipple. It's just one of those things that you just kind of keep doing. Even if I play it and love it,
all that.
May still just rag on it.
Great Biscuit Debate of 2015, that kind of stuff.
Desert punting.
I think this year, like last year, we're going to have to ask people for their top memories from the year, because we've had a lot of episodes this year, and I think there'll be some good ones.
Oh, yeah. And that's the thing. With us on the show, I don't remember all of them.
No, it's difficult.
I mean, some of the shit that people emailed in, I'm like, oh my God, I forgot about that.
Like, I remember laughing last year because somebody said it was just an off-the-cuff comment that I made, because when we finished the show, you obviously, any final thoughts? And I went, you're an idiot. I just found that so funny. It made me cry.
It made me cry too, but for a different reason.
Oh, I'm sorry. Much hugs. Dude hugs. Dude hug glitch.
Dan, should we talk about our game of the week?
We should.
We actually have 2 games to talk about, but we're going to talk about our game of the week first.
What's the other one?
You'll hear later.
Okay.
We've both played it.
All right.
This week, we actually have both played it. So, but first, this week, we decided to play
ActRaiser.
Which is a side-scrolling action platform god simulator.
Which is not a genre which comes up often.
But it is quite an accurate description of it.
It is.
It is a Super Nintendo game. Came out Japan 1990, North America 1991, Europe 1992.
Wow.
And there's a reason for the delays between those, and we'll get to that later.
Okay.
It's the best way I can describe it is half Civilization, half standard 2D side-scrolling platformer with very difficult bosses.
My God, the bosses.
Oh, yeah. This game is one of my wife's favorite Super Nintendo games. I've watched her play through this probably 6 times.
She is very talented.
Oh, yeah. It's funny because this past week I was playing it, and I'd get stuck, and I'd have to actually ask her, how do you do this? She goes, oh, you got to do that. I'm like, oh, fuck, okay.
I say I had to go in blind, so I didn't have any handy tips.
Yeah. No, so there is a plot to it. There is a godlike creature who we never actually see. It's assumed that that's you. And there's a tiny naked angel baby who calls you the Master. And you are on a mission to defeat Tanzra, who is this Lord of Evil. Because you got into a battle with Tanzra and you retreated to your Sky Palace to tend to your wounds and fell asleep. So while you, the Master, the god, were sleeping. Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, if you're a god, can you really get hurt?
No.
Yeah. So while you were sleeping, Tanzra took the land, broke it into 6 sections, and gave one to each of his lieutenant followers.
Well done, Master.
And they turned the people evil. So you took a several 100-year nap, woke up, discovered that you have lost your powers as God because the people have stopped believing in you.
I'm not surprised, man. He's been asleep for hundreds of years.
No shit. So your job is to go around to each of the 6 lands, recover your powers by rebuilding the civilizations in each of those lands, communicating with those people through prayer, and then you, as the Master, drop down into these 2D side-scrolling levels to defeat the bosses of each area. And eventually you get to Tanzra to fight him.
Yes.
Good synopsis?
Not bad. Almost eloquent.
I really had to put some thoughts together. I mean, there was one about potatoes that wanted to sneak through, another about toe fungus, but I kept it on games.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah. Well, so it's the game itself is broken down kind of strangely. So you live in this sky palace, and the angel directly communicates with you through a series of menu options, and you can either move your sky palace, return to sky palace, visit/observe the people, or go down and fight. And each area has 2 fighting sections. So the game kind of breaks down in that you get to a new land, you drop down, you fight. Once you defeat that section or that act, then you go into town building mode. Once you're done with town building mode, then you go back to fight. You beat the lieutenant of that area, rinse, repeat 6 times. That's the whole game.
Such an interesting mechanic, though. 2 kind of very different games blended together.
But it works so well.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed it, actually. With the main difficulty for it is figuring out the town building. And it's quite difficult to start. Like, you kind of just jumped in. I was like, right, what am I doing now?
Yeah. Well, in order to get to the town building, you have to beat the first act of fighting.
Yes.
So the town building is interesting in that you fly around as this angel with a bow and arrow. He's kind of like Cupid.
Yeah.
And there are
naked ass and everything.
Oh yeah. There are monster layers around the land that pop up.
Layers, not layers.
Monsters that pop up monsters that you have to shoot. Every time you shoot them, your magic power increases, and then you can use that magic power to cast miracles down on the land. and you gain more. You need to use different miracles in different areas. Like the first area, there are a bunch of bushes, and the people can't expand their town because the bushes are there. So you have to use lightning to destroy the bushes, and then direct the people.
Probably should just give them an axe.
Yeah, it's better when you just have a lightning storm come down because it instills the fear of God.
Yeah, he's meant to be a nice
I can
god.
destroy this bush, I can destroy you.
He's meant to be a nice
god.
So
you need to direct these people to the monsters' lair so that they can close them. But what's interesting is that occasionally they'll say, hey, I know this is unexpected, but we want to talk to you. So then you go into the church, they talk to you, and sometimes they'll give you like a little mini side quest. Each level has or each city building area has a different quest within it. One of them is, my son is lost and we need you to find him. So you have to direct the people to find him, and then they give you an offering that you can take.
So yeah, I found that interesting because every time they want to talk to you, he comes up to you and goes, I know this is unexpected. And I'm like, well, it's not, because you've talked to me about 8 times now.
And because I'm God and they worship me, so it's not unexpected. It'd actually be unexpected if they didn't want to talk to me.
Yeah. I couldn't figure out with the town building, like, when the people come out to build things. Because you can set paths for them to build. And then every so often they'll come out and build a bit, but I couldn't figure out exactly when they were going to come out.
Yeah, when I would do that, I would just say, because you could set a really long path. You didn't have to go 1 square at a time. So if you wanted to go like 5 or 6 squares away, you could select that square and they would just build the closest route to get that way.
Oh, right. I was doing square by square.
Oh, no. So they'll close those monster layers, and then at the end of each town building, they discover a source of evil within that area, and that's when you have to drop back down into fight mode.
Which is the 2D side-scrolling, of course.
And attack the bosses there. The miracles are actually pretty interesting. You have lightning, rain, sunlight, wind, and earthquake.
Earthquake seems a bit drastic. Of course, you don't have access to them all because you have to get SP points. This is also kind of an RPG because you level up as you go.
And the leveling up is based upon your overall civilization population.
Yes.
And that increases as you tell them to build out in their town. As you get to the end of each section of town building, something will happen that you cannot address until you receive an offering from a different civilization future down the road. So at the end of, I think, the third one, your people get really pissed off because you've been working them so hard and they're angry and they're about to revolt. So you go to the next town, and as you progress through there, so it's a big desert and you have to send rain to wash all the sand away, and you discover this body in the sand. And these people come out and they mourn the death. And the naked angel comes up and goes, hey, no, this is unexpected, but they want to talk to you. So when they're talking to you, they say, we were so saddened by the loss of this town member that we wrote a song for him, and we want to give you an offering. And they give you the offering of music. So then you take that offering back to the other town and you give that to them as an offering to them to calm their spirits. So it's interesting how it's not very deep, but it's interesting how the towns are interconnected. Like, they'll give you wheat and you can take that and plant it somewhere else because it yields more population than corn.
All right. Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bosses. Good Lord. Let's talk about the bosses.
Oh, Jesus.
They are... The gameplay mechanic is pretty simple. You're a big knight, walks around with a sword. You can jump and attack, duck and attack, or just straight up attack. But the bosses are on par in difficulty with some of the Dark Souls bosses because you have to memorize patterns.
Really do. I really struggled with the first boss.
The centaur?
Yeah. And then I discovered that apparently you can stand on the far left and he only goes so far.
Yep.
Because I was like, how do you avoid his attacks?
There's a mark on the ground where it goes from sand to grass.
Yeah.
And if you stand just at the edge. His spear can't reach you, but you can reach him.
Yeah, and it's occasionally attacks you with lightning as well, which you have to dodge.
The Minotaurus was not too difficult.
I couldn't even get up to that boss. I could not finish that level.
It's tough. The third boss, the Act 1 boss of the second town.
That one.
Manticore?
Yes.
That was one where you had to absolutely memorize a pattern and not fuck up. So you're over this poisonous water, and there are 3 platforms on each side with a gap in the middle. And this guy, this chimera would jump up, shoot a fireball across, jump up, shoot a fireball across, jump up, shoot a fireball across, and then jump over, and he was supposed to go back down. The pattern that I finally figured out after like 30 times of dying was if you stand on the left lower platform, as soon as he jumps, jump over to the other side. When he goes up, he'll attack you, or you can attack him from below. He'll go up, jump over, come back down, and then just rinse, repeat that pattern. But it's just absolutely memorizing a pattern.
This is exactly what I did, Eric. I think it's the same as me. Basically, what he would do is he goes down into the poison swamp, then he would jump up to the lower level, shoot a fireball. So I'd jump over that fireball to the other side, attack him a couple of times. He would then jump to the left-hand side on the middle level. I would let him go up to the top, then follow him across to the top on either side, wait until he comes down to the middle, attack him again, and then he would jump back, go down to the lower level. I would let him go back into the swamp and just rinse and repeat.
That's exactly what I did.
My gosh, that must be the exact way you do it then.
Yeah, I could not beat him any other way. The next guy is this... Did you get up to the Zeppelin Wolf?
This is as far as I got.
So he's this wizard who shoots out 3 beams. One goes high, one goes straight, one goes low. But there are 3 platforms on either side, and they're kind of in a staggered formation. And as soon as he fires his 3 beams, then he shoots out lightning in a downward 3 pattern, right, center, left. And it takes out 2 or 3 hits per. And after you get his health lower than half, he transforms into a werewolf. This boss kind of showed me that these bosses aren't really designed with a whole lot of skill involved aside from Manicore, because all you do is you just wail on these bosses. The whole point is to just get their health gone before yours.
Yep.
And all of the bosses after this, like Dagobah, is this giant sandworm that comes up. And I just sat there and kept getting hit, hoping I could mash the attack button faster than he could take my health away. And that's how I beat him. So that's as far as I made it into ActRaiser in terms of bosses. I started playing around in the next level, but it got to be a little late. The game itself just kind of rinses and repeats itself.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a whole lot of variation in the formula. It's just the 6 stages: fight, simulation, fight, rinse, repeat, and then use those different offerings from one area back to the other. That's about it.
Yeah. It is basically. I did enjoy the different mechanics, though, with the 2 different sections. It's interesting.
I think it's important to talk about the music, because the music in this game is awesome.
Yeah, it did have some good sounds for the side-scrolling stages, I thought.
Very inspirational
I was quite
fight music.
The animation of the side-scrolling as well, with the sword and stuff. I thought it looked pretty good.
Yeah, it's definitely a stark departure from the top-down simulation. Like, the top-down simulation stuff is very basic.
Yeah. Kind of like it's 2 games blended together.
Yes. This game actually got a single-disc soundtrack released in Japan.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, I think I'm looking up here, too, a melody of music from the game was performed live at a 2nd annual Symphonic Game Music Concert in Leipzig, Germany.
Nice.
Yeah.
I do like a bit of video game music, so...
EGM gave it Best Music in 93. GameSpot inducted it into Greatest Games of All Time in 2003. It was rated the 150th best game made on the Nintendo system. I mean, I guess that's not really that high on the list. Yeah. What's important to note is that this game actually fell victim to Nintendo's lesser known, maybe. I've never heard of it called this, but Nintendo's game standard policies. Have you ever heard of those?
Well, they don't generally do adult-themed games.
Yeah, so there was, in the original version of it, there were more religious. I mean, it's a religious overtone, but in the original version of it, the main character was called God, and the other guy was called Devil.
Wow.
The monster layers were actually Stars of David,
God.
which is quite anti-Semitic.
Just a bit.
And they changed those to skull-like symbols. So they had to change that to the skulls, then change it to the Master and Tanzra.
My God,
but
they made the side-scrolling sections easier.
Well, but hold on. So I want to talk about the Nintendo game standard policies because this kind of ties in with a game that somebody else told us to play. People found creative ways to subvert these game standard policies. There was an article written by Douglas Crockford called The Expurgation of Maniac Mansion. And he was talking about a specific part in that game where there's a room that has arcade cabinets. And Nintendo came back like, yeah, you got to change some of these. One of them was called Kill Thrill, and that needed to be changed. So the director of marketing comes back and says, hey guys, why don't we call it Muff Diver? Nintendo comes back and goes, yeah, that needs to be changed. So they changed it to Tuna Diver. Which
what?
Still has the same connotation.
Yes. There was once you probably don't get it in America. Do you know of a program called Bargain Hunt?
No.
It's basically when two teams go out and get antiques and sell them at an auction. But the presenter usually talks about an item at some point, and on one of them, he had a muff brush. And he just turned to the camera and went, I found something special for you today. I found this little muff brush. I was watching it with my dad, and we just laughed for about 10 minutes.
I'm going to Google that.
It's so funny.
Oh, I see the video of him.
It's so funny.
The Muff Brush is a two-piece comb that will completely change how you prepare for a night out, hot date, or just a romantic night in. The brush head is perfect for loosening up your hair, ready for styling or adding volume.
Sounds about right.
Wow. The comb head can then be used to create your new look.
I found that very funny.
So, obviously, they didn't subvert a lot of the religious subtext, because at the end of the game, you discover all of the churches in the land are empty because you've helped the people to the point where they no longer need you. So you and your little angel leave to come back when the people need you again.
Just go for another nap.
I'll go sleep for another 1,000 years. We'll let evil reign supreme instead of staying here and making sure it doesn't come back.
If they're not worshipping me, I'm not interested.
Yeah, fuck off. So, version differences.
Yes.
You were saying.
Was I? Oh yeah, the gameplay apparently in the side-scrolling segments is easier than it was originally.
In the Japanese version.
Enemies are giving you attacks, spells could require less magic to cast, and spike pits would kill you instantly.
Ugh. And you've been given more time to finish each segment.
But at the same time, they also made the simulation segments harder. So...
Yes. And there's a professional mode. It only has the action segments, which I think would be kind of neat to play through.
Yeah, that would be all right.
Yeah.
And then the European version is again different.
Ooh, how so?
It keeps the base changes made for North America. The professional mode is now called the action mode. Is available from the start.
3 difficulties. Awesome. For you, they have easy.
How funny.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's called beginner.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I can't play any other mode.
No. Because it's the first time I've played it. I'm beginning to play it. Isn't that how it works?
Oh, fuck off.
I'm scared. Better play it on easy.
Yes. Hey, I finished it. That was the deal.
Ooh. Yeah, you did. So what'd you think of ActRaiser?
I wanted to play more of it, but I wasn't meant to be on the show this week because it was meant to be on Sunday, and I'm actually busy this Sunday, so I played it this morning. And I would actually quite like to play through it.
It's really good. ActRaiser 2, according to Christy, is not as good.
ActRaiser 2 does away with the town building aspect, I think.
I think you're right. I haven't played it. I have it, haven't played it.
I will consult my book about ActRaiser.
Yeah, it's similar to the professional action mode. You still play as God. Do you? The animation in ActRaiser 2 looks much better.
Well, they usually are. Hang on, I'm checking.
Get with it, Dan. What is it? Let's see it.
I'm checking.
Yeah, I don't think there is a town building segment.
That said, this particular model of distinctive game types must have had something magical to it. The sequel, which dropped the city building aspects, has little of the original's charm and appeal.
Ugh.
I don't know, it might still be alright. I quite enjoyed the side-scrolling, apart from the ridiculously difficult bosses, so...
It'll be alright.
It'll be fine. Don't worry about it, Morn.
Was that your Jamaican Mario?
That was my Jamaican Mario.
It's a me, don't worry about it,
Mom. It's a me, a Jamaican Mario.
Wagwan, my brother Luigi.
Hello, Wagwan, my brother. Hey, Yoshi, why are you wearing the Rastafarian and the dreadlocks?
Yoshi, why are you so tired?
Wagwan, Yoshi.
God, that's just the dumbest saying, and I picked it up from Grand Theft Auto 4.
What you doing, Star?
Wagwan, my dad.
I had no idea what that guy said for the entire thing.
I had to put subtitles on.
I still didn't know what he said.
And even then, I'm like, does he have brain damage?
Speaking English.
It's just noise.
Exactly.
So I highly recommend ActRaiser.
I think it's a game people should play.
It is very good. It can be a little frustrating at times. I don't know how I would make it through this game without save states. I genuinely don't.
The only time I did it was with that stupid boss on the second level because it was driving me batty.
The side-scrolling portions aren't too difficult, but the bosses are wildly hard.
You have to go through the side-scrolling, trying to keep as much health as possible when you get to the boss.
Yes.
Which is, of course, standard game fare, but in this case, with the bosses being really difficult, it makes it very hard.
So this gets a hearty play it.
Play it! It's not shite.
Yeah.
And that is,
what is important to know is that this game has a lot of the same graphical and audio elements as other Enix games, like Illusion of Gaia, Soul Blazer, RoboTrack.
Oh, I didn't realize this was Enix.
Oh, yeah. It's the sound effects are almost exactly lifted from Illusion of Gaia, although this came out first, so therefore Illusion of Gaia would have lifted it from ActRaiser.
This is true of the time, isn't it? Like when we were playing Landstalk, or it had the sonic jump noise.
Yeah. So it's part of the Quintet games. It's developed by Quintet, published by Enix. So you can see why they would want to use their assets across games. So I don't know. I don't think it's part of the Heaven and Hell series. You know, Soul Blazer, Illusion of Gaia, Terranigma. I don't think it's a precursor to that. It might be.
I don't know.
I don't want to say for sure. But at some point, we have to play through Soul Blazer, because Soul Blazer builds a little bit upon this, where you have a town building aspect. I think Soul Blazer is a little bit more akin to...
You love building towns, don't you? You're obsessed.
Well, I think Soul Blazer is more akin to Dark Cloud, where you go through these dungeons, and as you defeat and unlock sections of the dungeon, it restores parts of the town with people within it.
Oh, this looks good. Can we play this next week?
Soul Blazer is awesome.
We play that next week.
But this directly starts the Heaven and Hell. I think it's, what is it? Why can't I not remember the exact title of this trilogy? It's got to be linked
because the player takes the role of the creator called the Master again.
Yeah.
So it's similar. It's kind of like a inspired sequel.
Yes. So we have an outstanding bet from Mr. Scale Enley that if we 100% Terranigma, he will send each of us a pack of Australian beer.
I don't drink.
At all?
No.
Then he can send me yours.
I like Australia.
Have you played Illusion of Gaia, though?
No, I haven't.
Dude. Illusion of Gaia I'm getting
through your recommendations. You've got many. I have to play a game for this show every week as well. I'm the only consistent one who does.
Sometimes I give you recommendations that are shit just because it's funny.
Yeah.
But Illusion of Gaia is amazing. I have a lot of fond memories with this game as a kid. So it may be a little bit nostalgia based, but it's just a fantastic RPG. It's an action RPG, I guess, with really deep characters and a great story.
I do like myself an action RPG.
Maybe we should work through this entire trilogy. I've never beaten Soul Blazer. I've gotten about halfway through it.
I say we do Soul Blazer next week.
It's long, dude.
We'll do it for 2 weeks then.
Let's see. How long is Soul Blazer?
Again, another one with the OR.
Well, this one's only 10 hours.
I can do that. Jess can't, but we can.
Soul Blazer next week. Okay, decided. I say we work through these.
Yeah, I'm up for that.
Not directly in a row, but,
Yeah, these sound
because Illusion of
really
Gaia,
good. Kind of remind me.
Illusion of Gaia is one of my favorite games of all time.
Sweet.
I want to see how long that is. I say 20 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, that's only 13.
So what was the other game you wanted to talk about for this week?
Shadow Complex.
Oh, Shadow Complex.
It's not much of a retro game, but I feel it's important to note because I had a blast with that game this week.
I think it's pretty damn good. Tom recommended this after we finished Super Metroid.
I picked it up on the Humble Bundle for $1.
It's certainly worth $1.
Oh, yeah. It was a little off-putting at first. The opening cutscene is shit. The voice acting is shit. The animation's probably kind of shit.
It's interesting that the voice acting shit, though, because it's clearly Nolan North.
This is a side-scrolling 2D Uncharted, is what this game is.
Basically, yeah.
There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is Uncharted side-scrolling.
With Metroid elements.
Yes. It's just non-stop action, though.
I actually started it on hard, and it is too hard on hard.
Did you do that to try to make up for the fact that
yes, and so I went down to normal, and it's much more manageable. Because I just kept dying all the time.
I really like the simulated depth of field aspect where enemies will be in the background and you can shoot at them as long as your gun is pointing in that direction.
Yeah,
your character will
really
turn
cool.
to shoot.
I've never seen that before, I don't think.
The writing is so bad.
Oh, so bad. It makes no sense, really. It's like basically a giant underground base with some people planning a civil war or something.
You go hiking with your girlfriend and get sucked into this gigantic conspiracy of war.
And then it's revealed that he's basically been trained as a special agent all his life and shunned it. And then before you know it, you're basically murdering hundreds of people in every room.
Yeah. My favorite scene is when you finally meet up with Claire and this mad scientist has injected her with the paralysis drug and you walk in and the guy looks at you and goes, you don't look like a murderer to me. And you just shoot him in the face. Doesn't even think twice about it. And then there's some conversation like, I'll carry you. She's like, no. This guy's dead in here. Nobody will think to check you. Just stuff me behind some cabinets. And then she goes, hurry up. And you lay her down and she goes, now you have to go do this, but kiss me and hurry back. It's so bad.
It's so bad. But he doesn't put her behind any cabinets. He puts her in front of them.
Right next to the dead body.
Hello. They can't.
Here's a dead body. People are gonna come in. They're gonna investigate the dead body, but they won't see the paralyzed woman next to it.
Clearly.
I was hoping he would have just like lifted her up and dropped her behind the tool chest or something.
I was too. It would make more sense.
I mean, even the way Jason talks is Nathan Drake.
Yeah.
It's just Nathan Drake is all it is. Like, I can imagine when they called him, like, hey, you want to play Nathan Drake but not get paid as much?
Yes, of course I do.
It's like, yeah, I mean, I don't need to develop a new character, so sure. I'll come in, fart out a few lines, make a few bucks.
Yeah, I actually saw a thing with Nolan North recently where he said he didn't even know he was in Portal 2. He just recorded some dialogue for a game. He didn't even know it was Portal.
A lot of voice actors don't know what game they're doing.
That's so strange.
Yeah. I guess it prevents it from leaking.
I know, but something like Grand Theft Auto, you'd have to know.
Or like if you're Elias Tefexis, then you're recording Adam Jensen lines.
Yeah.
Like, obviously.
When you're doing mocap as well, I think you'd have to know.
Yeah. Or at least have an understanding of what the game is about.
Or if somebody in the story calls you Lara, you're pretty sure you're in Tomb Raider.
Oh, I must be the butler.
I'd love to be the butler in Tomb Raider.
Speaking of which, I hate that case that the new Tomb Raider came in. I hate it.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It doesn't fit on the shelf at all. I've got this nice, beautiful line of games and
oh,
Tomb Raider.
Your cotton socks.
My silk knickers.
Yes. Your velvet jockstrap.
Did I tell you about the time when I was in 5th grade on the basketball team and I thought it would be a fantastic idea to wear silk boxers? My pants wouldn't stay up.
Wow. No, you've not told me that, but I'm very pleased you just announced it to the world.
My pants wouldn't stay up, and every time I'd run, the boxers would come up. So every time I got down to the end of the field, I'm digging in my crotch to get my underwear. I'm so happy that cell phones didn't exist at that time.
Yeah, I don't think you'd live that down.
No.
Silky Peterson for the rest of your life.
They call me old silk crotch.
Yeah, I would recommend Shadow Complex, though.
Oh, very highly. You also get Dangerous Golf in that game for $1, which is... It's a golf game made by the creators of Burnout. It's interesting.
Nah. Golf.
Dan, should we do some emails?
Yes. Yeah.
Want to send us an email, factorysealed@manatank.com, or shoot us a question on Facebook.
Or Twitter. Facebook is better because then they don't disappear.
First email comes from Quentin Seeger.
The competition winner himself.
Titled, Holy Shit, I Won. Quentin writes, Gay guys! And hello, Factory Sealed crew. I'm super excited to have won the NES Classic Mini. If it was a contest based on picture, though, I know it would have been Chad Hager because that straddle was fucking awesome.
He's right.
I've been listening for a little over a year now, and I love the podcast, especially the Final Fantasy VI episode. I'm always a little sad when an episode ends because I have to wait a whole week till the next one comes out. I think you're all super great, and I love the non-gaming talk just as much as game time. I feel it brings the listeners into the fold, makes the whole thing more personal. I'll throw out a little Jess love, too, even though she rarely shows up. She is pretty amazing. And Tom, Dan, and Captain America himself, Eric Peterson, you are the best. Again, thank you for the podcast, the familial feeling for a lonely fellow, and for the itty-bitty Nintendo. Keep up the amazing work. And is there any way to listen to your previous works? Quentin, sent from my rotary dial telephone.
What's a rotary dial telephone?
You really don't know what a rotary dial telephone is? It's the one that had like the rotary dial on the front, like you grab a number and you'd spin it in a circle and it would go tick, tick,
so
tick.
How is he sending an email from it?
It's a joke.
All right. I thought he was being serious. I was like, how has he done that? That's quite magic. I thought it was some contraption you had in America.
Sometimes you're a bit
I
thick. If you want to listen to our previous works, the Mana Tank podcast transformed into Talking Reckless.
That was you.
Yeah, that was me. That show extends back quite a ways to like 2012. I jumped into that show end of 2013.
Yeah. I'd say the best place to go would probably be your old YouTube.
Yeah.
Which is Honest Pizza.
Yeah.
And we used to do all kinds of
it's actually
videos on there.
I think I actually had to change it to the real Honest Pizza because I accidentally deleted Honest Pizza and all the videos with it.
Because you're good.
Yeah. I don't get it. So that's when you listen to that.
But thank you for the prayers and everything, Quentin. We do appreciate that.
There was a couple episodes of a Voldemort Tower podcast that, dear God, I hope those never come out because those were shit.
I can't even remember.
Yeah. Next email comes from Chad Hager.
Mr. Straddle himself.
Straddle himself. I had so many thoughts after listening to the show on Super Metroid. I've been slowly replaying the game and I love it. The sense of dread and the exploration of it all I just find super compelling. But I can understand why someone might not find it as compelling. But enough about that. However, Link to the Past is the greatest game ever made.
Yes.
That's a direct dig at you,
I know,
Dan.
I get it. Thanks.
I'm happy you enjoyed my Play Choice 10 straddle. The picture was taken by my 3-year-old, and my wife has no idea it exists. How do you explain that to a child?
There's so many questions.
I don't know. Okay, you come here. Come here. Daddy's going to climb onto this, and I'm going to put my legs around it. And I need you
I love this even
to take a
more
picture.
now. That is... But you should have told us that when you give us it, you might have won.
I feel like that's worthy of something else. I mean, the effort that went into that.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do there.
The original contest, the original contest was held to the same standard where it's randomly chosen. You just have more entries. But this deserves something.
Yeah, I think we can come up with something for that.
And lastly, since you talked about Bruno Mars, I need to know that you have seen this article for entertainment purposes. I have not, Dan. I'm going to send this to you. Oh, I did read this. It is so poorly written. I mean, this is just death of grammar. Do we even want to try to read this out loud?
That's my brain.
The article is called "The Rumor Come Out: Does Bruno Mars is Gay?"
What is it?
I can't read this without having a stroke. I'll give you the first couple sentences. Bruno Mars is gay is the most discussed in the media in the few years ago. Even it has happened in 2012, but some of the public still curious about what is exactly happening and to be the reason there is a rumor comes out about his gay.
There is, Eric, there's something similar going on, right? Because I quite regularly look for stuff about Final Fantasy VII because I'm obsessed. And if you go to Google News, there's people who publish articles about it which make no sense. And they're always the same.
I don't get it.
Like, listen to this. The Final Fantasy VII remake is expected to release sometime in 2017 for PS4, and it will mark the 20th anniversary of the game. Reports have suggested that the game will be in 3 parts like that in Final Fantasy 13. Final Fantasy 13, for some reason, in quotations.
I mean, I guess that's not terrible.
Yeah, but it's information that came out months ago.
It's just clickbait.
But it makes no sense.
Next email comes from Marcus Polvivara.
Oh, that's a new one.
There's 2 A's in a row. Is that?
I have no idea.
Is that Finnish?
Where are you from?
I think that's Finnish. I think that's
We are
Finnish.
multicultural at Factory Sealed.
He writes, I've been almost religiously listening to your podcast for a long time, but never before got myself to write to you before. Listening to your podcast have made my commutes far more bearable. I used to have to drive 5 hours twice a week, but luckily back then I still had plenty of your older episodes to listen to. I truly enjoy the fact that much of your podcast is utter nonsense.
Good.
There are other ones I listen for a more serious retro gaming information. Don't cave in to people who criticize you for that. Having always been mainly a computer player, both Amiga and PC, I'd love it if you covered more of those games as well. At the moment, your podcast is quite console-oriented. A few suggestions I have to mention. Quake turned 20 this year and is easily one of the most influential FPS games. I'd especially love it if you played this multiplayer. I would also imagine that at least Eric would enjoy a car combat game called Interstate 76. And even though it's a new game, still pre-release in Steam, I have to suggest you My Summer Car. It's a truly weird 90s Finnish countryside simulation in which you painstakingly try to build a car from scratch with no instructions while drinking beer, eating sausage, cursing, flipping the bird, and peeing around.
You need to play this.
Yeah, I mean, that has to exist. Anyway, thank you for your great podcast. Toodle Pip, Marcus from Finland.
Ah, he's answered your question.
Yeah, no shit. I need to see this.
I love these stories of people using our podcast for their commutes and stuff. It's nice to know that you brighten up someone's day.
I like the story too of the guy that listens to us and just giggles out loud and people just pass him goofy looks.
That's great. I love hearing things like that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
For a while, we had a lot of people writing in with how they found us. I always enjoyed reading that too.
Yeah, if you've never wrote in before, but you do listen to the show every week, it's interesting to see how you did find us.
Like, we had a guy that worked in an apple orchard in Alaska. I mean, it's just like, there are people everywhere. You just don't know who's listening and what kind of walks of life they're from. It's just so interesting to know that people out there actually listen to us.
I know, and I've noticed since we ever started the Facebook group, like a lot of our hardcore fans have really started interacting with us, started posting things yourselves and just talking amongst yourselves about retro games and with us, and it's been absolutely fantastic to just, for people, it still blows my mind that people listen to this shit, to be honest. So.
Well, if you think about it too, because we have some people that we've been doing this for almost 4 years now. Actually, it's been 4 years. Factory Sealed has been a thing for 4 years. That's somebody's entire high school career that we've been a part of.
Wow.
To think about that is insane, because there's a lot of things. We kind of live in an era where things spring up and die really quick.
Yeah.
And I'd like to think that we're not going anywhere anytime soon.
Unless one of us dies.
Yeah, I mean, shit happens.
Yeah.
I'm looking up pictures of this My Summer Car, and this picture here alone makes me want to play it. All it is is a picture of a guy flipping the bird to his voicemail machine. It says, "You go home and fuck you." I have to play this.
Yeah, this looks like one we should play together.
I want to see. I got to check it on the Steam store here. See how much it is. Ooh, $15. But the concept sounds so good that I might actually just have to get it.
Purpose made for you.
Yes.
Is that it for the emails this week as well?
So, My Summer Car is the ultimate car owning, building, fixing, tuning, maintenance, and permadeath life simulator.
Excellent.
You start the game with hundreds of loose parts and assemble both car and engine. But apparently you're on a boat drinking beer?
What? Okay.
I'm buying this.
Good.
So, hold on. Here we go. Not only you need to maintain your car, but yourself as well. Sausages, beer, and sleeping will do just fine. If everything goes well, you have a working car which you can use for various 1990s Finnish countryside summer activities, basically doing stupid things under influence of alcohol. After you've gathered extra money from various random jobs, you can start to tune and upgrade the car with parts ordered via snail mail. You can turn the car into an obnoxious bass boom disco machine or into a rally car to participate in rally competitions, or just fix it into perfect factory condition. Of course, car also needs to pass inspection or you might get in trouble with the police.
First review. Realize the soul-crushing irrelevance of all human endeavor as you fall into a septic tank and drown in human feces. Losing the past 20 hours you spend building the car you were pumping sewage to afford upgrades for.
Oh, this, I have to have it. Simply put, one of the hardest, most frustrating, most obnoxious games I've ever played. No tutorials. Nothing is in English. You know nothing. Suddenly you're dead and broke and your car has exploded. I'm buying it today. I mean, $15 is just outside my impulse range, but I need this. Yeah. What is Interstate 76? Is that that's a computer game?
You said it was. Vehicular combat game for Windows.
I have seen this. Looks kind of shit.
It was from 1997.
Hopefully it's better than Carmageddon was. That was...
I've never heard you be so disappointed.
Interstate 76, The Arsenal is $2.99 on GOG right now.
Excellent.
Correct. So that's all the emails we have for this week.
Marvelous.
If you have any other emails, send them factorysealed@manatank.com.
Yes.
Are we playing Soul Blazer for next week?
Soul Blazer.
Okay. I actually have the cart for that, so I think I'm going to play it on the actual cartridge.
Oh, snazzy.
Fancy.
Oh.
Ooh. And then we'll eventually... I think we could redo Illusion of Gaia. It's been 4 years since we've played it on the show.
It's a different show.
It's quite different. But Jess and I did make it pretty far into that game. I've never actually beaten it, despite it being one of my favorite games. I don't know what it is about my favorite games.
What is it with you and that? It's so bizarre.
Yeah, I don't know.
Weirdo.
I don't know.
Finish your games. Finish them.
I just don't know. No!
Yeah.
I prefer to leave them sealed.
I know you do. Sure.
Dan.
Hello.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Where can we find you on Twitter?
You can find me on Twitter at Frosted Sloth.
You can find me at Honest Pizza, the show at Factory _
Well done.
Sealed. The website, factory-sealed.com, or on Facebook, our Factory Seal Retro Gaming Podcast community.
Also, don't forget that you can also support us on Patreon. We appreciate any donations. You go to search Factory Sealed on Patreon, and we are basically your donations come back, and we will give away free stuff like the Mini NES, which Quinton won. And
so we have a supporter, Eric Townsend, pledged enough to get the reward where once a month we will set aside time after a show to play games with him.
Ooh.
So Eric, you need to send us an email with what games you'd like to play, and we will get stuff scheduled.
Yes, we will.
Preferably something really stupid.
Oh,
like Rocket League, Battlefield.
Don't have Battlefield.
Buy it. Yeah. You can kill horses with
my
airplanes.
God. It's everything I ever wanted in a game.
Why did I not buy it the day it came out?
Because I am a Mon.
A Mon?
Mon. With a G.
Quite. I am going to purchase this game.
I think you should.
My summer car.
Yeah.
I'm going to. I think I need to. And I will talk about that next week as well. But we are going to be playing Soul Blazer.
I have one final request, which I occasionally say, is leave us reviews, please. We like nice reviews.
Yeah,
we like shit reviews, too, because they're funny.
Yeah. Even though it gets me down, it's what makes me drink.
Yeah, it's because you're offensive.
Never. Ever.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. All right, Dan, that's going to do it for this week.
A wonderful show, Eric.
Pip, pip, doodle, pip,
Tally-ho and all that with a stiff upper lip.
Gonna spend a week recaying brain cells.
I don't have any.
Huh?
What? What you saying, son?
I can't hear you.
I'm falling over. Yeah, on that note, bye, everyone.